Welcome back to another episode of Sports Attic with
We
my guy.
back
We back with my guy
finally.
Trey, aka Sports Guy Dallas. How you feeling, my man?
I'm good, bro. How you doing?
Oh man, I can't complain. I know you over there getting planned up, man. Early congratulations to that 1 year eclipse, man, of your beautiful wedding out in Jamaica with the missus Brooke. What you got? She doesn't listen to this, right? I know you
Nah,
got something up your sleeve.
I got some stuff up my sleeve, but
Okay, don't give the sauce away. I don't want her
I'm not
to
gonna
come
give the sauce
across it.
away because she may be in the other
Okay,
room.
somebody will send it to her. You know what I'm saying? You know how women
Mm-hmm.
operate. But
Mm-hmm.
man, we are so excited, man. It feels like football is literally around the corner. There's the first preseason game, Hall of Fame game is on the 4th of August. That's Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
Man, football is here. I
Mm-hmm.
can't wait.
Mm-hmm.
Super excited, man. So of course we're gonna catch up on all the training camp news. And today, man, they put on them big boy pads, man. They put on them big boy pads.
Uh-huh.
There's some folks who might get by with the shorts and jersey on, looking swift, looking fast. And
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't mean there's nothing you can't gain from that, right? Like you can see maybe a D lineman, you want to see the juice off the edge. You can see it, but ain't nobody putting hands on them yet.
I mean, everybody looks good running on
Everybody looks
air,
good. Right,
you
right.
know.
And so
So
now the pass came on today, man. And I saw, of course, following the news, all the clips, all the videos, we can see one day we will be in Oxnard. Hey, we're gonna start a super chat in here one day. Y'all can pitch in to getting us to Oxnard.
we
We
should
could bring
start
you
a
the exclusive.
GoFundMe,
There
send
you go.
Ryan and Trey to
To
Oxnard
Oxnard for
to
sure, for
camp.
sure. Hey man, that's gonna be we gonna do that one day, manifest for sure. So man, one of the first things. So let me take it back. With the pass, I was super excited to see in the interior, the trenches, because
Mm-hmm.
that's when you really get a
Mm-hmm.
good perspective and good analysis of what guys can do, how they looking. Especially 707. You can still the receivers and corners gonna do their things in 707 in shorts and in shells. But the big uglies can't do too much until those pads come on, man. So I was really excited to see that. And
Did you see Did you see Tyler Smith's pancake of Tristan Hill today?
of course I did, man. Of course I did. And Tristan, hey man, Tristan, he gets hurt. You know what I mean? He might not have lived up to a second round billing to this point. You know what I mean? It might not be available, but he's no like pushover. Like he physical. You know what I mean? And strong. And to see Tyler, I don't know if he picked him up off the ground. He might as well have.
Well, basically, Tristan Hill is no scrub, is what you're trying to get to. He's no
He's
scrub.
not a scrub. I'm not saying he's just like some. I would have hoped to this point. I would have hoped for more from a second round pick. But what his physical style, what I'm saying is to pick that man up and throw him on his back with his play style is not just something to put your nose up at. Like that's some serious strength that
Exactly.
Tyler showed.
No, exactly. When I watched that clip, you can tell basically on that play, Tristan Hill pad levels was lower, so he had the better leverage going into the play, and then Tyler Smith he's just so strong. He took that left arm, he just reversed the strength back and
Right.
basically just put him on his butt. You
Man,
know.
and so, of course that was the biggest thing him coming out of college. People talking about his strength,
Mm-hmm.
specifically in the run game, and that's one of those things that you just can't see in shells, right? And then when he got the t-shirt and shorts on, you're not being physical. So now we focus on all the other little things, and you really saw, what the front office was hoping to see, with that power, and hope he can build off that, obviously, and gain that first team position as we move forward. But man, it was a lot going on, a lot to take in that we'll get into. But one of the first things that popped off is, man, Dak and CD's connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I hadn't seen it was good to see that again. Someone dominating, man. 88 reminiscent of you remember the days of hearing Dez just going crazy in training camp practices, like nobody could stop him. And I didn't see like Trayvon definitely wasn't like following or anything like that. Honestly, from the clips I saw, I didn't see Trayvon on them much. I don't know if they were just kind of playing base defense, like you stay on that side. I did see them kind of moving CD around a lot, which I hope to see going forward. Him not just being stationary. He's playing out of slot a lot. So, I definitely saw him kind of going across the field and, we're in zone and safety's trying to pick him up in the zone or whatnot. But he looked real good, man. He looked real good. He had this crazy catch up the sideline, which was a little scary. It was a scramble drill. Dak rolled out. He pointed. So CD kind of did an out route to come back to him. He pointed up, like go deep. So he hit the little wheel. He threw it. He caught it on Hooker and he slid and had his left foot caught under him. And man, he caught it. And thank God it wouldn't. It kind of dragged up under him, man. And I'm holding my breath, especially as we get later into the injuries. We definitely can't afford CD to go down. And that's a part of football, and you can't put him in bubble wrap. But I was definitely a sigh of relief to see him get up and head back to the huddle.
No, absolutely. So I guess, man. So what is your opinion on the Dak and CD Lamb's connection?
So my opinion on the Dak and CD Lamb connection, I really, to this point, I know at the end of the year, somebody's numbers, right, might look solid. You run 1,000 yards, 8 to 9 touchdowns. But basically what I'm saying is I haven't seen Dak really just connect at an elite level with a number one receiver. I always just get this feeling, man, when we watching the game, Dak drop back, he looking for a safety blanket, and I don't know who that is. Typically, it changes from maybe year to year, but I'm not surprised 4th and 7, this is what I want to change. 4th and 7, we drop back. I am not surprised at all if Dak throws the ball to Dalton Schultz. You know what I'm saying? So that's what I want their rapport to get to that point where we have a true number one receiver and quarterback connection. I feel like he should get 14 targets at a minimum a game. And the ball should just go to him early and often. Even if you can't get it to him down the field, just put the ball in his hands. You see teams like San Francisco. Debo's going to get his touches, whether it's down the field, whether it's a quick hitch, whether giving it to him out the backfield. He's going to have his opportunity to make big plays. And that's really all I want to see. So even if it's not passes, down the field, carrying the receivers, I want to see that, obviously. But get the ball in his hands, at least attempting 14. That's the number I want to see at the minimum with the ball in CD's hands.
Well, excuse me. Well, I agree. It's going to have to be high target, high volume, the CD, just for the simple fact that he's the only receiver that's active on our roster that scored a touchdown before. Our receiving core is very thin. I think James Washington just got hurt today, Jones fracture. That's a blow to the receiving core. And what sucks about everything is the fact that we have $20 million in salary in open cap space. So we could have easily fit Amari Cooper on this roster and be deeper at that position going into this season. There was no financial benefit of cutting Amari Cooper, and now that leaves us thin at receiver. So to your point of CD has to be more involved in the offense, and he has to have 14 receptions or 14 targets.
Just
14.
Getting the ball in his hands, at least attempting 14 times.
Yes, so he needs to be high volume. He needs to be a staple in the offense.
Absolutely.
And he actually has to become that more so going into the season, just because there are nobody else to throw to.
Right.
And I think that also makes Dalton Schultz a little bit more valuable as well.
He's about to get some numbers.
He's about to get some numbers. And I mean, you just spoke about it, Dak safety blanket, right?
Yep.
You said it changes from time to time, but typically it doesn't. Maybe the person changes, but
the person is who I meant. Yeah.
The person changes, but the area of field doesn't.
Yeah, it's the middle
of the field.
Yeah.
So if you go back and look a couple years ago, CeeDee Lamb's first year, he played 88% of the time in the slot.
Mm-hmm.
And in his second year, which was last year, he played in the slot 58%. So it was a drop in 30% of the time, and that was basically because Michael Gallup got hurt last year, so he had to move on the outside,
Right.
and what that basically did was open up targets for Dalton Schultz in the
Mm-hmm.
middle of the field because
Yep.
that's where CeeDee Lamb was prior to that.
Cedric got his targets.
Cedric got his targets, and the reason that that's where Dak throws to, in my opinion, is because I don't think Dak has the arm strength to make the outside throws. He's a good deep ball thrower, but when he throws it deep, that's more of a throwing it, pushing and directing it upfield and giving the receiver the ability to run under it versus having to throw the ball on a tight rope in space with a defender on you outside. I don't think that's the strength of Dak. So with that said, it's going to be interesting to see what their connection is like, just on the simple fact that that CeeDee Lamb is going to spend most of his time, even less than 58% of the time, outside. Even if they're moving him around without any receivers that's on the outside, that's a threat. They're still going to defend him with a double team no matter where he lines up. I know lining him up in the slot does give him a free release, but after that, what is it? So I'm interested to see what the connection is going to be. And in my opinion, the biggest thing that we need to focus on to see from them as far as improvement needs to be CeeDee Lamb's catch percentage, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in the past, his rookie year, he caught 66% of his balls. Last year, he was down a little bit, but 65.8, but about 66% of his balls. And when I think of what we need CeeDee Lamb to be going into this 2022 season, we need him to be a version of Cooper Kupp, right? We need him to be high volume, high catch, high productivity. And if he can do that, like I said, last year, 120 targets, 79 catches for 1,100 yards, 6 tuds. I think he needs to get 66% catch percentage. I think he needs to get his catch percentage up to about 70, 75. And like you said, if you're throwing 14 targets and he's catching about 75% of those targets, we'll be able to see more production as far as yards, touchdowns, and just overall productivity. And if he could do that, then he'll be able to carry our receiving core, right? And we'll have a stud. But to your point, I'm not very confident in that, just on the simple fact that we've never seen Dak play elite football with an elite receiver, right? He doesn't have that Romo T.O. connection, or the Romo Dez Bryant connection, or the Romo Terrence Williams connection, or even the Romo Witten connection. We don't see that from Dak. It just seems as if he's the type of quarterback who likes to throw the ball to the receivers when they're wide open. So what he really needs is a technician as a route runner to get wide open. He's not really good at anticipating throws, throwing it in tight windows, or at least it doesn't seem like he's very confident in doing that on a down to down basis. So I'm curious to see what this CeeDee Lamb Dak Prescott connection is going to be, and I'm also curious to see what the front office is going to do as far as bringing another receiver, because I believe the Cowboys are going to need that.
Absolutely. I mean, you touched on it obviously with the injuries, man, and it's very interesting that the two position groups that the Cowboys moved on from a notable player when they didn't have to, being Amari Cooper and La'el Collins, got hit with the injury bug today on the first day of pads. With the tackle, I might butcher his last name, Waletsko. Then we drafted him last year, maybe this year. It was a tackle that just went down today. Looks like he's gonna need surgery. And then James Washington, as you mentioned, with the Jones fracture in the foot. And like you said, I think now we're left with CeeDee Lamb and Noah Brown with the only two active players with the NFL catch on our team. And that is wild that we're kind of in that predicament. You would think, even with the addition of James Washington, that it's a super high percentage that someone in the receiver group is going to go down. So we went into this situation, this training camp, with feeling like James Washington was going to shore it up enough. So now, with that being the case, receivers' names we're just going to throw out there. How do you feel about them? To be called one big name.
Oh, so
Got
we're
to.
about to do the hypothetical. Who should we sign? Game.
Hypothetical, who should we be on the phone with right now?
Okay.
Right now. And
Okay.
so one name that's hot is Will Fuller. Will Fuller, I think he's only still 28 years old. I'm not sure where he stands with the suspension, if he fulfilled that last season. I know he had a PED suspension. Um, Again, not sure if that's all settled and good. I think he played. Um, I want to bring up his stats. I don't have him in front of me, but I think he had a pretty solid year, and then hurt his thumb,
Mm-hmm.
if I'm not mistaken. And then we didn't see the rest. Didn't see him for the rest of the season. So Will Fuller, you got names like T.Y. Hilton. You've got names that you'll hear, of course, because it's a big name, but doesn't help us in the injury department with fulfilling James Washington as a bridge to Michael Gallup, if that's what you want to call it, is OBJ. OBJ still recovering from his, what was it, ACL? So he doesn't fulfill the need. I know he's still recovering, so he doesn't fulfill the need of bringing in somebody who can help right now.
Mm-hmm.
Cole Beasley threw out a little bait, saying he loved to come back and play with
Is
Cole.
he
I mean,
is he
with
is
that.
Cole Beasley not an active receiver on the Buffalo Bills team?
No, he's not.
So what happened with that? Like they just decided not to.
I guess they decided not to re-sign him.
Wow.
So yeah,
Was he not
Cole is.
was he not productive last season?
Nah, Cole's getting busy. You never know. I have no clue what the deal was.
Why is he a free agent any period, even without the Bills? Like
I don't know why he's a free agent. Cole is an interesting cat, man. When we had him, that rookie year, he almost quit. He did. He left training camp, and we had to, kind of massage that and get him to come back. Like, so I don't know if he still cares to play football. Of course, he went through the whole COVID stuff last year. He was very vocal, like, I'll never get it. Maybe the Bills just felt like they don't care to go through that
that's
again.
probably exactly what that is,
That
right
is
there.
probably what it is. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So, like, hey, if you got to be Stephon Diggs maybe to get that, to talk like that, and we
But
put
yeah,
up
but
with
that's also the reason why Amari Cooper's
Amari's
not there.
gone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
And so, but that's probably a big reason. I'm trying to think if I'm missing anybody else as a, you know, eligible receiver that's on the radar a little bit, but I would like to think that's pretty much it.
so really,
Uh,
what it comes down to, Ryan, is what kind of receiver does the Cowboy need? What does Dak need? Right.
Kind of what you alluded to. He likes the people who get open quickly,
Right. Now,
quickly in his face. Um, so kind of more the middle of the field type guys, and I guess that would be on Kellen Moore to, even if it's an outside guy, maybe to put him in the slot. But he likes the people to get open quick. And so he definitely likes to. I kind of feel like that kind of zeroes in on not so much it's a matchup. So I've seen him on the third down, and those just kind of stick out to me. Is looks like he throws it into coverage is because he just determines at that like, hey, I got this backer or this one-on-one with this corner with this our third receiver, but I'm still going to Noah Brown. You know what I mean? And it's like, I don't know, that's super frustrating to me. But I think he just likes people who get open quickly. Like, who doesn't like that? But in terms of receiver, if you ask me, out of those options, if everything is panned out correctly, I wouldn't be mad with Will Fuller at all.
so would you take? We just need. You think we just? I think we need two receivers off this
I
list.
think we need two too, honestly. So if my dream, since we got our 20 million, you give me Will Fuller and OBJ if we can fit them in for a 1-year prove it deals. Let's see. But I that would be ideal to me. But hey, I agree. I think we need to. I think this would teach them a lesson that one, even if you pick up one, you right back in the same predicament 3 days later if somebody else goes down.
Well, what sucks about this is that Will Fuller, he does have to deal with the PED suspension probably.
Yeah, we got
OBJ,
to check that out to see if he's completed that or not, because he did play last year. I just want
but
to
I think
see if
they
he's
came up with
done.
that at the end of the season
Oh,
because I had
got
him on
you.
my fantasy
Got you.
team.
Okay.
OBJ is
Yep.
is obvious the obvious pick for me. right?
Sure.
I think that he fits with that because he gets open pretty quickly.
Hmm.
And he's fast. But the thing is, he's coming up off of an ACL injury. And is this his second time doing an
I
ACL?
believe so.
Right. So
Something in that ballpark, if it's not an ACL, something very similar.
and even if OBJ could return to being the OBJ of the past that we know of, he tore his ACL in the Super Bowl game.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if Michael Gallup's ACL, because he's not out there practicing right now, is he?
I think he's like right behind Michael Gallup in his timetable. So
No,
right, that doesn't fix the, like, you just signing him to when he's back to bolster our receiving core, not to fill in for James right now, or
exactly.
in the
Because we're
meantime.
gonna get the stat about having not an active receiver
It's
with a catch
crazy.
will change obviously when Michael Gallup comes back because
Right,
he's
right.
caught a touchdown, he's made a reception
Sure.
before.
Sure.
Right. So with that being said, man, I think that Will Fuller, I like him. I like him a
Yeah.
lot. I mean, I know he is a deep threat,
Yeah.
but are we creative enough to even get him deep? And would Dak be able to hit him deep?
I
For
don't know
some
about
reason,
I don't know about creative, like, different schemes to get him. We'll just run a 9 route. We do that.
but
We'll just
for some reason, I just have vivid memories of Dak, Michael Gallup beating somebody by 2 or 3 steps, and Dak just not putting it where it needs to be. I just
yeah.
have vivid memories of that. And
When you say creative, I think of, like, I don't know, when I see the Chiefs, or I remember the Jordy Nelson back in the day with Aaron Rodgers. They used to run this play where he ended up going like across the field, like you roll out right, and they end up going the opposite way across the field, and it'd be wide open. Like, we don't do that. We just run like a 9 route and be like, if you got to step on them.
that's exactly what I mean when I say creative.
Nah, I wouldn't say creative.
Doing something like that would be able to get Will Fuller, who is a speedster, running
Yeah.
diagonal.
Nah, we'll just be running up the sideline.
Yeah.
Maybe a deep post, or just up the 9 route up the sideline. That's all I've seen us do.
What did T.Y. Hilton do last year?
I haven't pulled up his stats. I'm not sure. Not much, man. I think they're kind of going with that young movement. Michael Pittman's kind of taking over that receiver core over there. So I don't think
they got another young guy. They got another young guy too.
Yeah, I don't think he did too much. So I kind of feel like Will Fuller would be number one on my list. With the, if you want to talk about dream pickup, would be Will Fuller and picking up OBJ. See if they want to do 1-year deals, prove it deals. That would be ideal. That'd be awesome. But hey,
I don't disagree with you. I don't disagree with you.
You see how we are with them boys with the cap space. So
what you mean?
I don't have any. Kind of tight knit with the cap room. Pretty conservative with, you've heard I don't know if you heard Steven the other day saying we haven't won anything being off-season champs, and I was like,
you ain't never been off-season
when have you been off-season champs? So I didn't understand where that came from, honestly. Like, what are you talking about? Like, when's the last time we've been off-season champs?
Steven tight with the money, like it's like he made it.
Like he made it, yeah.
Like he did something.
I'm not sure what that's about.
I gotta be careful with my dollars.
Yeah,
you got
I don't know.
$20 million
Yeah,
that you can roll over to next year. From what I've read, and I don't understand it all the way. So, all you people that are watching, don't judge me specifically on this. But from my understanding, the $20 million or any cap space that's left over that goes unused in a particular year rolls over to the following year, which would be great because we have some players that we do need to sign, right? But
that's true. We do. CD and Trayvon, and they'll be here before you know it with their contracts. But still, you definitely have the space right now. A 1-year prove it deal. You know what I mean? That would be amazing. So
a 1-year deal would accomplish the exact same thing, right? It would fill the roster with the $20 million, and then at the end of the season, that $20 million will fall off, and you'll still have $20 million. So
I bet you them boys you don't even got to give Will. I don't know. Maybe I don't know what their asking price is, but I bet they both take 10 apiece. That's a fact.
If they are rolling over that $20 million specifically for next year, that means they're definitely preparing to cut Zeke.
They're definitely doing that. They're definitely doing that.
Because if they don't have 20 million, because Zeke is gonna have the 8th highest cap hit next year.
They're definitely cutting Zeke. I mean, maybe they'll give him the option to reduce the salary
extension and restructure.
And I expect Zeke to be like, nah. But so I think
I don't. I
I mean,
think
we'll
that
see.
it really depends on what kind of season Zeke have
It
this year.
does. It does. It does.
If Zeke goes out here and he look like year one Zeke, year two Zeke, year three
Yeah,
Zeke, he go out there and look like that again, and you're gonna be like, oh, well,
for sure, for sure. So that kind
give
of
him
is
some more pie, Jerry. Give him
a
some more pie.
man. Don't give him no more pie. That's a nice segue
Yeah,
into
I
Jerry
disagree with
Jones'
you. Yeah, give him
comments,
pie. Give him pie.
man. Jerry Jones. I don't want to misquote him, but we'll paraphrase. This were comments regarding
Man, Jerry
Zeke
getting old too, man.
and yeah, he is. And Zeke and Tony Pollard. Jerry says that Zeke has to be the focus of the running back game. There's room for Tony while Zeke is in there. And then he kind of goes on to say we need to be creative to get Tony some touches. Essentially, while Zeke is still the man. And I don't. What would you see over there?
I'm looking for the lie.
Okay,
That's what
okay.
I'm looking
That's
for.
what I was like.
I'm
I didn't know
looking
what was
for the
going
lie.
on.
I'm looking for what Jerry said that was wrong.
Hey,
That's what I'm looking
I don't
for.
have
I
a
don't see it.
problem. I don't have a problem with obviously we need both of them obviously. So
Yeah.
I don't think he said that any differently. Obviously I want Zeke to be an integral part. I hope he does his thing. I hope he's successful. I want us to win. Like of course I want him to do his thing, and I want Tony to get his touches as well. The only thing that rubs me the wrong way about it, and that's that business part of Jerry. And hey, as we discussed, maybe hey, this is the way you run his team. The only thing that I don't like is this lends to if Zeke is not producing, Zeke is not uh getting off, and then every time Tony got some limited touches, he's averaging nine yards a pop. This is keeping Tony still on the bench. That's what it feels like to me, and that's what I don't like about it. He's saying I don't care. Zeke is the man. We paying him X amount of dollars. I like the dude. He's a great man. That's my guy. He our main guy. Of course, I want Zeke to do well. Of course, I want him to have a big time season. That lends to our success. That lends to Dak's success. That lends to CD's success. That's the only thing that rubs me a little bit the wrong way is that if Zeke isn't producing, isn't hitting the holes, what if he's losing a step? That to me is a power move to Kellen to be like, I don't care. Zeke needs the ball,
Now,
regardless
now,
of regardless of how Tony's producing. That's the only thing that rubbed me the wrong way.
now that's the issue. If that's the reason, if that's the sole reason for Zeke playing because of the dollar amount, then I agree with you.
Sure.
However, I absolutely emphatically agree with Jerry Jones, and I think that the Cowboys should run their offense through Ezekiel Elliott because in my time of watching every single snap and every single game that Ezekiel Elliott and Dak Prescott have played in their careers, I know that Dak is the best version of Dak when Zeke
Absolutely.
is the
When the
best
running
version of
game is
Zeke.
going crazy. Absolutely.
Now, you alluded to a stat. You said 9 yards a game. A
Carry.
carry. 9 yards a carry. That's for Tony Pollard.
Pretty limited touches though.
But that's for Tony Pollard, correct?
Sure.
If you made Tony Pollard the starter for NFL team, do you think that he would be able to sustain a 9 yards per carry average throughout an entire season as a lead running back?
Of course not.
Of course not.
Yeah.
So when people bring up these kind of stats, it kind of irritates me because stats kind of just bleed into whatever point you're trying to prove, right? And I just don't like that. I just think that yes, is Tony Pollard good? Absolutely. Should Tony Pollard get the ball more? Absolutely. Should it be should we take away carries for Zeke for Tony Pollard to get more touches? Absolutely not. We just alluded to the weakness that the Cowboys have at the receiving position. You know what? I watched some Tony Pollard some Tony Pollard tape in college. You know what he did a lot? Play receiver. You know what he did a lot? He ran a lot of routes. You know what I mean? That's an ability that he has that we never utilize, right? So this gives them the opportunity, or Kellen Moore the opportunity, to use Tony Pollard more as a weapon rather than a running back. Yes, give him carries, right? He needs to get the carries because what he is good, what he has proven, what 9 yards per carry does prove is that you're a very good change of pace running back. But Ezekiel Elliott is a better running back than him. And I'm not saying this to be a biased or anything like that. I watched Ezekiel Elliott perform at his peak, and it's better than what Tony Pollard can be. Ezekiel Elliott takes the dirty runs, the ugly runs. Now he doesn't have that burst like he used to have. I envision of him running against the Steelers his rookie year and splitting the defenders like Michael Vick for the touchdown, a walk-off touchdown, or taking that screen pass and going 72 yards down the sideline for a touchdown. I don't know if he's that Zeke anymore, but that doesn't mean he's still effective.
Absolutely. And again, like you said, I want Zeke to go crazy. I want him to have a great year. We're the best versions of ourselves when he's playing well. That was just that. Not even take Zeke and Tony out of it. It's just, hey man, this is how he runs his team, and that he feels like he needs to, I don't know, say this the dude I like, and we riding with them regardless. We've held on to players in the past too long with that mantra. Jason Witten been running like a snail for about 3 seasons. At the end of his career, we still kept him because he was one of his guys. I just don't like that part of it. So again, of course, we are our best versions of ourselves.
So let me ask you this. Do you think that the Cowboys, regardless of if Jerry is making that decision because of basically nepotism, because he can, right?
Sure.
Do you think that we should not run the offense through Zeke?
No, I didn't say that. I said if Zeke.
That's what I'm asking you that now.
Oh,
do you think that what Jerry said is something that should be done, regardless of the reason?
I think we should establish the running game. Whatever mix you come up with, I'd like to see a change from last year. Is what I'm saying. So if you want to say through Zeke, like I'm not tripping if he has, the majority of the carries at the end of the game, and he's, considered the lead back. Of course, he is the lead back. Like Tony is not a 25 carries up the, between the A gaps type of back. I just want to see the mix change a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And I agree that we need to lean. I think we need to lean on the running game like that. The running game needs to work. It needs to be successful for everything else to open up. But to just be like, of course I want to see Tony in the slot and all that stuff, but the running game needs to be successful. Hopefully Zeke is the lead back in that, but I want to see the mix change up a little bit.
I agree with you on the mix. Now, if you're talking about the mix, meaning that I don't like how like Zeke comes out there and then he's the running back, basically either until he's tired or he has this possession, and then until we punt and get the ball back again on another possession, Tony doesn't get a crack at it. I think that's dumb, because what that does is make your offense predictable, right? Once the team picks up on those patterns, they understand what type of plays you can and can't run. Sure. What I would prefer to do is to get them involved. Like I said, get Tony Pollard involved more on the regular offense. That way we're less predictable. They can go out there and you can put Zeke in the slot and put Tony Pollard in the running back and still do something creative. It's just about, to me, putting them on the field more and utilizing Tony Pollard more. And when you talk about the run game, I 100% agree with you that we need to establish the run. If you remember in the San Francisco game, the best drive that we had in that game in the playoffs last year was when we ran the ball. And for some reason, and it wasn't just Tony Pollard, it was Zeke. It was Zeke here, Tony Pollard there, Zeke here.
Yep.
Oh, little tight end pass. Move the chains. And that's how we scored on them. That's what and we went away from that.
Yeah.
Because Dak isn't the kind of guy that I want to lean on to throw the ball 30 times a game. So that means that we do need to give the ball. I want to see 40 carries. And if Dak is gonna throw 30 games, give me 5 to 10 targets with getting the ball to Tony Pollard in the middle of the field rather than Dalton Schultz.
It's going to Schultz.
It's probably gonna go to Schultz.
It's gonna go to Schultz.
It's probably gonna go to Schultz.
Schultz gonna catch about 90 to 100 balls this year.
We'll talk about Dalton Schultz in a little bit,
for sure.
And I won't tilt my hand on my opinion on him, but I think that it would be nice to get Tony Pollard the ball in space in the middle of the field and be able to use some of his athleticism. I do think that Zeke should be the focal point of the run game, no matter how they split it up. I don't care if Tony Pollard gets more carries in a particular game because he had the high hand. Who cares? I just want to win.
So do I.
Right? So, but I do think Zeke should be a focal point. Let me ask you this, Ryan, real quick.
Sure.
If we have enough time to do me to say this, do you think Derrick Henry is a good running back?
Yes.
Where would you rank him?
Um, I mean, I'd say top 6.
Top 6? 5 other dudes better than him?
I mean, I'm just throwing that. I don't know how
All right,
people.
let's just say top 5, top 5, top
Yeah,
5.
top 5. How
Where
people
would
want to
you rank
rank
Zeke?
their, because they want to rank their, the way they want to rank that. He can't do this, like pass catcher. Is this dude more
Where
versatile?
would you
So,
where would you rank Zeke at?
man, at this day, probably I got Zeke at like probably 12, 13.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
Did you know that Derrick Henry and Ezekiel Elliott last year ran for 4.2 yards a carry?
Hey, man, you just said the stats don't mean nothing because people could just bring them up when they want to
No, they
make their
don't.
point. That's what
Yeah,
you said.
I did say that.
I'm just going off what I'm watching on television, and
But see,
that
the
dude,
difference
looks
is,
better than him.
but the difference is both of those guys got pretty much the exact same amount of carries last year.
Okay.
Did you know that Derrick Henry got hurt in week 8 and didn't play anything past the season? I mean, any more games
Yeah,
after week 8?
I play fantasy. I was well aware of his injury.
Okay, so if you're well aware of his injury, so now I do agree. I understand that's my point about stats, but in this particular situation, the stats are literally like dead even.
Yeah,
They
but
got about literally the same amount of carries in the same season.
Sure.
But the difference is Derrick Henry was able to get those carries in 8 games that Zeke got in 17 of them. And
Cool.
that's the issue. The issue is more usage. We need to get the ball to Zeke more often. And honestly, are you seeing big holes when Zeke gets the ball? Are you literally seeing, besides like a one game that one place sticks out is the play against the Buccaneers week 1 when he didn't make a move on the guy for the touchdown, right? That sticks out. But I don't remember a bunch of those plays in the last season where you was like, man, Zeke's sorry.
So I'll say this, because I've heard Zeke out his mouth say like, this is this particular play is my favorite running play, and that is literally when we turn around and hand it to him, he just runs right into the back of like Zach Martin. That's like his favorite. That he said that's his favorite running play. I've seen him say that. Of course, running behind a great player, but he runs. I don't know, man. Like you made the Derrick Henry comparison. One thing that's consistent with the Zeke and Tony comparison. I watched those games, and I'm watching Tony run through them same holes. He's seeming to find a way to make some explosive plays.
But after the defense is already like either
No, I've seen him early. I don't know why we went away from it, because in the Chargers game, he was in there early and often and getting money from the jump.
Zeke got money in that game too.
Man, I don't know. I'm just saying they run through the same holes. So I don't know if that's by design. Maybe Kellen need to do better designing some stuff up for Zeke. But I don't like the play. I don't know why it feels that way, but when Zeke in the game, it really feels like we just say Hut turn around and he just run right in the back of Zach.
Maybe I'm biased on Zeke, man, but I can recall a time where we know Dak was limited as a passer, and the only viable way we were even viable was just basically give the ball to Zeke, running the ball, throwing the ball. And he carried us. And I just remember that he can be that guy. And I think that he needs to be that guy
He does.
For the Cowboys to be successful.
He does. Exactly. I didn't debate that.
Because Dak is not that guy.
He does need that guy. But that goes back to, I mean, I've said this plenty of times. I just feel like there's only a handful of guys who are that guy that you got a chance to win him with, like, not a good running game. There's only a handful of quarterbacks like that. And you better have some nice weapons on the outside. If you don't have a running game to get it done, you better have some nice weapons. And it's only a handful of people that you can be like, oh, no running game, drop back 40 times, give us a good chance to win. It's not a lot of people that can do that.
Well, whether Jared Jones's comments were made because of his relationship to Zeke or his opinion on how the Cowboys are going to be successful this year, I have to say I agree with those comments, Ryan. I would think that the only way that the Cowboys are going to be a viable team this year, especially with the lack of receivers, and Dalton Schultz being probably our leading, he has the possibility of being our leading receiver this year going into the season. So
Yeah, catch wise, not yardage, but catch wise. If all things, if they stay healthy, he won't be yardage wise or touchdowns, but definitely catches and possibly targets.
Dalton
So
Schultz last year caught for I think 805 yards.
that sounds about right. He was solid. A solid fantasy pickup. Solid fantasy pickup. He probably gonna get you anywhere from like 6 to 8 touchdowns. You know what I'm saying? He probably gonna hit 1,000 yards this year. Again, we talked about ain't no motivation like that contract year. You about to go crazy.
He only really need to do what he did last year. He'd be
Probably
all right.
gonna make the Pro Bowl.
Nah,
Watch.
he won't make the Pro Bowl.
Watch. What the 2 or 3 tight ends in the 2 or 3 tight ends in the
Did
NFC?
he make the Pro Bowl last year?
No, but I think he's gonna get an uptick in numbers. I see him hover probably around 1,000. 8 touchdowns. That'll get you in the Pro Bowl. Close to it.
Okay.
You got in the NFC. You got to contend with what? Kittle. Who else?
What about the tight end over at in Atlanta?
Oh yeah, Kyle Pitts. We got to see how many tight ends can make it.
Right.
And if somebody be like, "Oh, we're actually still in the playoffs because we're a good team," you can go. That still count.
Yeah. No, I'm just trying to.
We're actually playing meaningful games, so you can go ahead and go, bro. Bring me back a souvenir.
So Dalton Schultz last year caught 78 balls, and last year CeeDee Lamb caught 79 balls.
Okay.
And I mean,
what was CD yardage?
He caught for 1,100 yards, and Dalton shot 800.
I don't see Dalton touching them in yards. He just got more explosive plays.
I think that Dalton. I think.
What was the targets? What did you see the targets? Are you able to see that?
I can get the targets really quickly.
Yeah, I can get that number won't surprise me if Dalton leads the team in targets this year, and that's going to be disappointing. Not even a little disappointing.
If he leads the team in targets, I think he most likely will.
Yeah, I think that's just why I want CD to lead the team in targets. But hey,
let's see. Last year Dalton Schultz got 104 targets last year, and CD had 120 targets.
Hopefully, CD continues to be the target leader, but that's pretty close in terms of playmakers, playmaker ability, for him to be that close. But
yeah, it's not crazy. I mean, if you look at Dalton Schultz's numbers, I mean, dude, I compared him. Actually, I pulled it up on Pro Football Reference, and I actually compare him to Travis Kelce, just as far as averages. And if you go look at Travis Kelce's first couple of years when he started becoming that dude, I mean, Dalton Schultz is on par with that. The only difference is, like you said, his stats add up, but I don't see the player that Kelce is when
that's what I'm about to say, man. My eye test is a part of my evaluation, bro. I don't care about them stats. He is not no Travis Kelce.
I agree. He's not.
Or he wouldn't be going into no tag year, or we not offering the tag. If he was Travis Kelce, he'd be
got the Cowboys by their balls. Who else you gonna? Okay, if Dalton Schultz holds out right now, today,
yeah.
If he held out, what would the Cowboys do?
I'm not sure.
What would they do if he said tomorrow? I am. Has he signed that free agent tender?
I don't know. But they basically hoping to give Jake Ferguson a year to develop, and they're gonna send the old boy on his way.
Is Jake Ferguson ready to play football right today?
No, I don't know. That's why they want this year, this red shirt. So he should sit out.
If I'm Dalton Schultz,
because he's gonna lose leverage next year.
What's the drop off between me and that guy that you just said? And I'm not even a Dalton Schultz fan, but I just know that the Cowboys have one viable receiver that's active right now.
Yeah, you're right. I hold out right now.
And they don't have a tight end. Tomorrow I will not show up
right now. I'm done.
I am done until you give me what I want.
Yeah, it's hot out here anyways.
It's hot.
It probably ain't too bad at Oxnard.
And if he didn't sign that free agent tender, if he didn't sign that what you call it?
The franchise tag. Yeah,
franchise. If he didn't sign that, then they can't even find him until the game start.
Yeah. No. So, Dak gonna look crazy without Schultz.
Dak is going to look crazy next year, bro.
He gonna look crazy without Schultz.
I don't know what happened when.
Boy, Noah Brown gonna get so many targets. Watch, that's just how we operate. Noah Brown. Jalen Tolbert. I
actually heard that he was doing well at.
He did do well today. No cap. Noah Brown had some nice plays today. And
I
he
forgot about Tolbert. Tolbert, I think may make a play, make some plays.
Tober gonna make some plays. Tober gonna be all right, and it look like that, kind of that friendly, like you said, route running type guy. He gonna get he gonna get that Cedric Wilson chance for sure to make plays. He is, and but Noah did have a couple nice plays today. I just special teams guy, that's cool. Like basically, Noah had to come in when Zeke came in. Like, bro, whoever you've developed into is who you are at this point. Like, Noah had to be here about 6-7 years now, for real.
Nah,
Noah was here back with Dez, and his heyday. Like, Noah been here a while.
They need to turn him into a tight end.
Might as well, you know what I'm saying? So
you like to put him in on plays where you block,
where he blocking.
Big, he can catch well. He actually probably got a little bit more speed than what our tight end provide. Might as well turn him into a tight end.
He is at this point. He's had to be here like 6-7 years. I know he's a special team guy. And you need them guys.
He's been here, yeah. I mean, at least 5 years.
At least 5. But he did make some nice plays today. So that was good to see. So we'll definitely tap in tomorrow with some more news. We'll get into the DBs, how they've been looking, how Micah's been looking, some individual players. It's been good to catch up with everybody. I've heard the cool kids say SLC. That means subscribe, like, and comment. So y'all go do that. SLC.
Where you see the young kids saying that at?
The cool content creators on YouTube.
Oh, you've done your research on this.
Yeah, SLC. They say that like that's the cool thing to do.
Subscribe, like
and comment. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Subscribe, like, and comment, everyone.
For sure.
Show love.
And tap in, and we'll be back tomorrow.
All right now.